today I'm gonna give this doll a makeover. Recently, I made this custom doll, and she started off with a pixie cut similar to hers, and I just had a really fun time at giving her long hair, and I just thought it was a really fun change. So I thought it'd be fun to do the same thing with this doll. I have nothing against pixie cuts or this hairstyle. I just think it's kind of fun to switch it up and see what she'd look like with long hair. I have some really fun ideas for this, so let's just get right on into it. So to start, I have some boiling hot water here, and I'm just gonna dip the doll's head into the water. Look at little bubbles coming out of her head. So now her head should be nice and softened and make it easier to pull it off. Perfect. And as you can see, all the way around her head, she does have this flocking, and we're gonna need to remove that. So I'm just gonna dip her head back in the boiling hot water and then kind of just scrape it off. It's weirdly satisfying, but also messy. And I'm just gonna kind of keep on dipping that in and getting it soft and just repeating this process until I get most of it off. That rhymed. Anyone want some water? That's nasty. And as for the rest of her hair, we're gonna cut it off. And I'm basically just gonna cut this as short as I can. That should be about good there. And now what I'm gonna do is I have my needle nose pliers here, and I'm gonna stick them in her head and basically just scrape the roof of her head to get all the hair plugs out. And then I pull all the hair plugs out from inside of her head. Now I have some cotton pads and 100% pure acetone. And I'm going to remove the paint from on the doll's head. I also need to be careful that I don't let like any of the color spread to the rest of her head, like I'm literally doing right now, because we don't want that. And now, because I plan on giving her this really pretty pinkish hair color, I'm gonna grab some acrylic paints and mix them together to make a color as similar as possible to my hair color. Wait, I actually did a really good job matching that. I'm impressed. And I'm gonna paint the doll's scalp with that color. And basically, I saw some really cute reference photos online, and that's what I'm kind of going for her hair. Or at least that's what I hope it's gonna look like. But before we get into that, do you guys like my jewelry? I'm wearing it because, first of all, it's beautiful jewelry. And second of all, today's video is partnered once again with Be Kind. And they sent me some more beautiful jewelry to take a look at with all of you guys. I'll start off with the pieces I'm wearing right now. There's this really cute little bee bracelet. This sunflower ring is so gorgeous. Here's the sunflower bracelet, and I love this one because it tightens by just pulling these two strings. In this cute box over here, we have some little flower earrings. I'm definitely gonna be wearing these. We have the matching necklace, and this one's really neat because I love the way that it comes on and off. And then this gorgeous sunflower bracelet. And I can safely say that their jewelry is such good quality and just beautiful because I've been wearing them a lot. Not only is their jewelry gorgeous and great quality, but 10% of every purchase goes towards helping bees and building bee colonies around the world. So by purchasing from their shop, you're also supporting a really important cause. I personally absolutely love their jewelry, and I know that you guys will too. And if you are interested in checking out their shop, click the link in the description box below. And if you use code DD30 on their website, you'll get 30% off the entire store. Thank you, Be Kind, for sponsoring today's video. I absolutely love your jewelry and the cause you're supporting. And now let's get back to the doll makeover. So this is the hair color I'm using. It's called Dusty Mauve, and it's from Doll Planet on Etsy. And just look how pretty of a color that is. I love it. And because I don't plan on making her hair this long, I'm gonna cut it in half. Carefully. Yeah, that'll be perfect. And basically, if you don't already know how I do this, I take a small strand from the hair, I fold the strand in half, and then with my rerouting tool that I also got from the Doll Planet, I grab it at the center and then poke it into the doll's head. And I'm basically just gonna repeat that all the way around the doll's head. And now from here, we've run out of hair plugs, as you can see here, because these sides used to have the flocking. But if you saw my last doll makeover, you'll know that I just put a little needle, like a sewing needle, inside of my rerouting tool. I poke in a hole, and then I poke in the hair. Another option would be to just poke in the hair and not make the holes before, but it does kind of help to keep everything in line and look even. So that's my method, and that's what I'm gonna do for all the way around. Yeah, it's quite the process. And what I usually tend to do is actually poke like a couple holes in at a time and then put in the hair, because otherwise it's just switching back and forth constantly and it gets to be a bit much. Okay, so I've rerouted all the way around the doll's head, and now I'm just gonna fill in the empty space on the rest of her head. And realistically, for this part, I'm just gonna take the hair and poke it in. I'm not gonna do like the pre-holes because it doesn't need to be perfect. Most of her head is now filled in, but she doesn't have a part line, so we're gonna kind of make it ourselves. I did draw on a line with a pencil just to kind of have a nice straight line to follow, and I'm basically just gonna poke in a strand of hair on the line, then separate the two pieces, bringing one strand one way on the head and the other strand the other way. And I'm gonna repeat that for all the way down the part line. What feels like years later, I'm finally done with the rerooting process, and I tied her hair into a little ponytail just to keep all of the hair on the right side of her part line. So I have my fabric tack glue, and I'm just gonna squeeze a whole bunch into the doll's head. And then I'm also gonna squish the doll's head around just to make sure the glue gets everywhere. It's the next day now, and her head should be completely dry. So I'm gonna pop it back on to her body. And I'm gonna go and rinse her hair under some boiling hot water to let everything lay flat and nice. Okay, her hair's been rinsed off, and now I'm starting to get really excited about this makeover because this is where it starts to get fun. Also, completely random note, but if you've noticed this kind of like scratch on my hand here, try to ignore it. My cat did that to me. Yeah, but now we're going to go ahead and trim her hair a bit. I'm just gonna kind of cut off these scraggly ends. And then also do this. I don't really know if this actually does that much, but I just do it every time now, so feels wrong to not do it. I'm gonna actually give her hairstyle in a little bit, but for now I want to get started on the repaint. And if you don't already know, I use matte Mod Podge and acrylic paint for my repaints. I just mix them together and paint it on the doll. Starting with a light brown color, I'm gonna put some color into her nostrils. This is always just kind of a weird thing that I do, but it does make it more realistic. And I'm also gonna paint on some hairs on her eyebrows. There's not really anything special I want to do with her eyes. I just kind of like the look of when I repaint the doll's eyes, so I think I'm just literally gonna repaint it with a very similar color. And then fill back in her pupils, along with the little shine in her eyes as well. I'm also giving her a bit of a pinkish eyeshadow color. I really need to focus for this, so I'm probably gonna do most of it off camera. I did the eyeshadow, not sure this was my best idea ever, but we can't really go back now. The eyes are definitely a lot darker than they were before, but I actually don't mind them like that. But right now I'm just gonna take an extremely small amount of matte Mod Podge and put it over the entire eye. I also really quickly painted on a shade darker of lipstick just because I thought it might suit her a little bit better, and I feel like we have to switch up her face a little bit because it's kind of just looking the same otherwise. And I did use glossy Mod Podge to make it a little bit glossy. And now I have this crusty looking palette. Just ignore how dirty this is, I'm so sorry. But with a cotton swab, I'm going to take some of the blush and I'm going to carefully put some on her cheeks. I'm also going to put some on the tip of her nose and on her chin. I don't know if this is gonna be permanent, but either way, it looks cute at the moment. Now I want to move on to giving her some piercings, and we're gonna get really fun with this and give her a whole bunch, at least on her ears. So I have my clear thumbtack, if you know, you know. And I'm just gonna line it up where I want the piercing to go and push it in. And I'll wiggle it around a bit, and quickly pull it out and push in the earring. And I'm gonna repeat that on the other side. They're just kind of cute little basic hoops, but we're not done. Not yet. So I want to give her a double piercing, one right next to the one we just gave her. And I have these little push pins, which I think will be perfect, but I'm just going to cut them short first. Careful to not let the sharp side go flying anywhere. And for these piercings, I'm unfortunately going to have to move away from the thumbtack and use a needle instead because it'll be more precise. And I'm just going to poke it in where I think it should go, being careful that I don't let it poke out in the back here. Then I'm going to very quickly pull that out and put in our earring. Okay, so I got that in off camera, and not gonna lie, that was a struggle. I'm just gonna try to do the same thing on the other ear. Okay, this one went a lot better, but we thought that was difficult. Now I'm gonna attempt to give her a piercing up here. I'm poking in with my needle again, and this time I actually do want it to come out of the back, but I also wanna make sure there's enough plastic there where it won't rip the ear apart. And I also have this little piece of wire ready that I'm gonna poke into the doll's ear. So as soon as I take this out, I'll quickly poke that in. This is about to be very stressful. Oh my gosh. I need to do this off camera. There, got that in. And I'm gonna squeeze these ends together. And then I'm gonna flip that around so the nice part is in the front. I actually had an easier time with this earring than the second one here. That was actually a lot of fun, weirdly. I think I might even put another one below it as well. I only did it on the one ear. I feel like it might look like too much if I do it on both ears, but I just think that looks so good. And actually, this might be a little strange, but while we're in the ear region, I kind of want to darken up the insides of her ears. Again, I'm just using that same Mod Podge and acrylic paint combination. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it looks a little more realistic like that. Or maybe it's weird. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. But I just feel like, especially from like this angle, it looks good. And now I want to move on to her hairstyle. So I'm going to take two small pieces in the front, just like that, and I'm going to braid them. And then with the rest of the hair, I'm gonna pull it up and tie it into a ponytail. And then I'm gonna also take a little piece from underneath the ponytail and wrap it around the elastic to hide it. And because the ponytail is kind of sticking out quite a lot and I want it to lay more flat, I'm gonna actually rinse it under some boiling hot water so that it'll lay nice and flat against the doll's back. Okay, her hair is dry and I love it. And before we actually move on to anything else, I want to give her one more thing on her face. I think I want to give her a little nose piercing. I'm going to use the same method I did on the last doll makeover for her eyebrow piercing. I have this glittery nail polish, and I'm just going to carefully select one of the little glitters, and I'm just going to carefully place that on her nose, just like that. Okay, but now that that's done, I think it's definitely time to switch up her outfit because this is not the look that we're going for here. And here we have it. I think this is the outfit I'm going with. It took a lot of time to narrow it down to this, but I do really like the look of this, and I think it's just perfect with her hair and earrings and everything. For shoes, I'm gonna give her these black boots with some silver laces. I also have this little purse that I think would look really cute with her outfit. Then I also have this little silver bracelet thing that I think would look good on her wrist here. It's kind of simple but cute. I also want to give her some rings, but I want to have a ring like on one of her middle fingers here. So I'm going to poke a hole in between these two middle fingers, kind of similar to how we did her earrings. That honestly looks terrifying. Okay, I got the wire poked through. I'm going to cut off any excess, and then I'm going to work at looping that around. And there we go. I just think that looks really cute, and it'll definitely stay in place. And I gave her a little ring on her pinky on her other hand as well. Oh, and also I really quickly replaced her bracelet with this one instead. I just like it a bit more. And while we're here, I'm also just gonna quickly paint her fingernails. I'm giving the ring finger a color similar to her hair, just to switch it up a little bit. I also thought it'd be fun to give her a couple tattoos, and I think I might put one like behind her ear here. But again, I'm just using matte Mod Podge and acrylic paint. Okay, I didn't really get to film much of the tattoo process, and the time that I did, it turned out nasty looking, and I had to start over and do something else because it was not looking good. But I'll show you all the tattoos that we now have. These two little hearts behind the ear, and this little heartbeat tattoo. Don't know how I feel about that one, but it's there now. On this hand, there's 3 little music notes. Again, I'm not sure how I feel about this one. I've never claimed to be a tattoo artist, okay guys, so these might be kind of trash, but I tried. However, this one, I do really like how it looks. It's just like a little hay, but I just did it so tiny and it turned out really great, I think. And these are also strategically covering up the stains that were on her hands for whatever reason. And I think that means we are officially done with her makeover. I absolutely love how she looks and how she came out. Definitely so different from how she looked before. Make sure to let me know in the comments below what you guys think of this custom doll and what we should name her. Comment your suggestions below and I'll make a poll where we'll decide what her name should be. Now, before we end today's video, the shoutouts for today go to Got It All, Scout, and Green Aesthetic. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, and remember, if you want a chance of getting a shout out, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell, and comment down below with the hashtag DD Squad, and you'll have a chance of getting a shout out in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you once again to Be Kind for sponsoring today's video. Definitely check out their link in the description box below, and don't forget to use code DD30 for 30% off the entire store. I love their jewelry and their cause. And I'll see all of you guys in the next one. Bye!